We have to build a $27,000 computer with the daunting task of getting top leaderboard in 3D Mark. All of the PC parts have arrived, and it's Vinny's objective to completely stress test all of the components. This is the 5995WX Threadripper Pro processor from Ryzen. Quite literally the most expensive CPU we've ever used, coming in at $6,100. And the CPU actually comes with a proprietary screwdriver that has a tension tightening system so the processor stays as safe as possible. The AIO doesn't even cover the whole CPU.
The coverage is awful.
But even with just the air-cooled setup, we're only breaking the top 15% of the leaderboard. Yeah, this ain't happening. So that's not gonna cut it. But what about the other parts? How about two Strix 4090 GPUs? That's a waste of money. SLI is no longer supported. I mean, no, you're not wrong, but the customer specifically asked for two GPUs for workflow in his private security company. Oh yeah, and did we mention the entire system is getting water cooled? Even down to our 256 gigs of crucial RAM. How, you might ask? Well, with these memory water blocks from Thermaltake, which look way better than the naked green DIMMs. After RAM is seated, we can move on to 8, 16, 24 terabytes of NVMe storage, plus an extra 40 terabytes of hard drive space. But now onto the hard part, the CPU block. We actually had to take all of this back out in order to fit these gorgeous gold fittings as a whole. I'm not gonna lie, as cool as this thing looks, it is sketchy. All 8 DIMMs of RAM have to line up perfectly, plus we can't mess up the thermal paste coverage.
We're in, right?
Sweet. Yeah.
Heck yeah!
Let's go! Okay, that wasn't nearly as bad as we thought, but don't worry, there will be more to come. With the motherboard all set, we can then toss it into this V3000 case, but we needed a route for motherboard cables to feed through.
The only problem is if you're cutting right here, it has to be a freaking perfect cut. Yeah, so it's gotta be literally perfect.
Dremel time!
So from here, we actually have to take the motherboard all the way back out to install these custom distros from Singularity PCs. All of them are getting a gold backplate like you see here. This one's gonna go right here in the back of the PC. And this is the main distro with the pumps on it. You can see there's two. There's way more flow for liquid, and that goes right in the back over here. And last but not least, the biggest one. This one goes right here, kind of in the floor of the case, and just gets to show off that liquid and get it from point A to B. So yeah, before we mount these, we're gonna do fans and radiators.
We actually went with 3 480 rads from EK and paired them with these gorgeous QX120 fans from Corsair. Easily magnetized together with one cable per cluster, plus it has a temperature readout on each fan. After these guys are mounted to the rads, we can start tossing them into the case. Bottom fans are intaking, while the top fans and radiators are exhausting for all of that hot air. And then for the front, we did a push-pull configuration just so we can maximize the airflow in this beast of a build.
Oh, that was terrifying. Oh my god.
There it is.
Now onto the distribution. distribution plate. Now onto the distribution. Jesus. Distros. We're moving on to the distros. And like I mentioned earlier, they're getting these sweet gold backings. Each are getting tossed into the same spot as earlier, and then it's on to blocking our GPUs.
So we'll start by taking our graphics cards, unscrewing all of the screws, cracking open the back plate, slowly peel that PCB off. This is not working.
It's so close.
30 seconds, go.
You get your two GPU troughs, you rip them apart, grab the PCB that's in there. A lot of screws. Once those are out, you carefully get the PCB gone, replace the thermal pads and thermal paste. Once the thermal pads are replaced, then you're going to bring it over to your active backplate, take it apart a little bit, couple screws, lay down the PCB carefully with your new pads and new paste in there so it's all pristine. Put your other active backplate on, sandwich together, screw. Then you're left with two GPUs that are blocked, and then you get these gold fittings, put them together, and then boom. Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah! With the GPUs all done, it's now onto the fun part, water cooling. And we'll start by tossing some fittings, and then it's tube cutting time! After tubes are bent and the tube runs are all installed, we can start the process of filling this thing up. And let me tell you, it took a lot of cooling. While Vinny was getting all of this done, our artist Gerardo was actually working on the back panel of this case. And like always, he absolutely crushed it with this custom logo. Now onto the question we've asked from the start, will the PC be able to get top leaderboard in 3D Mark? We not only got top leaderboard, but we're number 66. And with a little bit more testing, check out the build. What's better, with or without RGB?